Hey, it's Dr. Brenda, founder of the Gutsy Women Club, where women dare to dream and take bold actions to follow their heart's journey. Also a full-time RVer, traveling the country with my 3 cats. Hey, please subscribe below. So I just had my 1-year anniversary, and I've been thinking a lot about this. I was hoping to post this a few days ago, but I've been thinking about the best and the worst of the entire year. So I had to take notes for this one, guys, because honestly, I can't believe it. I've been out here for a whole year. I can't believe it. The time has just flown by. Okay, so let's get right to it, the best and the worst. All right, I'm gonna start with my purchases. The best purchases I made, I've got this clam shelter. It's big, it's got the floor in it, and that is my patio/catio. That is my best purchase, but it's tied for something else that is much more practical and necessary, and that is my tire pressure monitoring system. It has saved my butt on the road at least twice, and that is the best investment that I made, and the catio, my patio, my clam shelter, top notch. On the flip side, what's the worst purchase I made? I had to really think about this, and I went all the way back to when I was first researching what do I need to live in the RV, and I kept coming up with, you gotta have a collapsible wagon, and then you can haul things to, I don't know where you're hauling things to, or do this and do that. Never used it. I gave it away after, I think in month 3 or so. I left it someplace and said, hey, maybe you can find a home for it. So I've bought a couple of things like that online people are like, you need this and you need that, and a lot of times you don't, especially traveling as a solo person. So yeah, that was the collapsible wagon. That was a loser all the way. Okay, now let's get to the fun stuff. The best experience I had overall was wintering at South Padre Island. Anybody who knows me knows that I hate the cold, and this was to have sand under my toes in December. That was absolutely the best, and I made some really good friends. Had such a good time. I'm going back there again this coming winter. So that was the best experience. The worst experience was also in Texas, and it had probably less to do with, certainly didn't have anything to do with the campground. And it had a lot to do with the time of the year. So I'm going to tell you right now, my worst experience was camping for 2 months at a campground in Hill Country, Texas. And I think I would have had a fine experience maybe if there hadn't been COVID, and maybe if we didn't have something called the presidential elections. Okay, for somebody who's wearing tie-dye and a Vermont shirt, you might get my drift, but I saw Confederate flags and other types of flags, and it was a mean, nasty, hostile environment in that area at that time, and I know a lot of people experienced the same things, but for me, that made the worst experience of my whole RV travels, was staying in that part of the country in October, November. It's like, I am now forewarned. Next time there's a presidential election, I'm going to park myself at a different location, more strategic. Okay, now, which was the best campground? I have stayed at so many cool places. I love Corps of Engineer campgrounds. I love the state parks. If I can stay at national parks, I do that. I am definitely a park person. I'm not so much into the private campgrounds at all. So one of the parks that keeps coming back to the front of my mind is one I stayed at not too long ago, Cattail Cove State Park. It's in Lake Havasu, Arizona. And I had these most amazing walks through canyon. Then it had this gorgeous beach. I was kayaking. There were swallows in the caves, and I could watch the swallows. And then there was this gorgeous botanical garden, and the bathrooms were good too. So I really liked that park. I'm also very fond of the Virginia state parks. Shenandoah River State Park, I really enjoyed that. Plus it had a laundromat, it had big sites, very convenient. But I have really stayed at some fabulous places. It was really hard to narrow that one down. The worst? Oh yeah, that one's easy because it was false advertising, and it was just a one-night stay, but I was like, thank God I didn't stay here any longer, because when I pulled up, and it was a dirt parking lot basically, you know, and for that convenience I paid $40 a night. And when I checked in, they didn't bother to tell me that the laundry room, the showers, all of that was like being redone. Nothing was open. So that was called, ironically, Happy Trails RV Resort, you know, and it was in Moriarty, New Mexico. So that was really the bad one. The worst experiences are from the ones that are in the city, oftentimes right off the freeway, really, really crowded to each other, and that again is why I tend to stay at the state parks. And here I'm at a regional park. Isn't this cool? Check it out. And I'm 10 miles away from the Oakland airport. So yeah, I'm in the Bay Area, Oakland Hills. Cool, right? Okay. Now, I traveled during COVID times, and so I want to tell you the best experience, the best state in terms of being safe while traveling during the COVID pandemic. Just had some bicyclists go by. Best state, probably not a surprise to you, Vermont. Vermont was really good. Even going up and down the mountains, people were masked up and really took very good precautions. The worst state, okay, so I was in Vermont, I think in early August, and then in September I was in Florida, which was the worst state. I was at Silver Spring State Park part of the time, and even the staff were not masking up, and I saw people doing happy hours, no masks. So Florida was the absolute worst. Generally, I feel like I've been very, very safe traveling here in my own container, you know, so it's been really COVID safe, but there's been such an incredible variance from state to state. I'm really glad that we're at the back end of this, and people have gotten vaccinated. The numbers of cases is going down, so that is a huge relief. Okay, now I'm up to experiences. The best experiences, I've had a lot. I'm gonna go with South Padre Island again, and my family visited. I went zip lining, mostly with my niece. I went horseback riding on the beach, which is something I've always wanted to do, and the horses actually hustled and had just a wonderful time. So that was a really great experience. And oddly enough, the worst experience again is in Texas. And this occurred at Caprock Canyon State Park. I was charged by a bison. I was just hiking, and all of a sudden I looked up and there was a bison real close to me. I wasn't sure what to do, so I stood my ground, and that was a mistake, guys. That was a mistake. So I got charged by a bison. So I think that was the worst, certainly the scariest experience that I've had. Now, I want to just talk about the best things about living the RV life, you know, as a solo woman, being out there all by myself. So you ready? One of those is the opportunity to get to meet new people. Now, it's been a little bit more difficult this last year, I am sure, but I've met people on Facebook and through other ways. And so I have made some pretty good friends, met some new people. Certainly, one of the best things is the amazing sights. I can't imagine not witnessing the magic of what is around us. I mean, from incredible forests and hills to beaches to canyons to oceans to deserts. I just marvel. I get in the RV and I go another place and my mouth drops open, and it's like, and I'm surrounded by nature, just by beauty. You can't beat that. I'm also growing as a person, so you know, when you're on your own, you gotta learn how to be your best friend. So I feel like I'm much easier on myself now. I like who I'm becoming, but it is part of an internal, personal journey that I am on, and that I think many people are. I've also become more confident. You know, I've crawled under that rig and you know, clasped things, changed the oil. I've you know, managed to get in and out of tricky situations. So I've definitely have gained more confidence. And the other thing I've done is I've been able to at least address trying to break some of my bad habits, working on being healthier. I mean, when I started this journey, I was horribly obese. I'm in much better shape now. I hiked almost 10 miles yesterday, which is probably why I'm sitting here. Oops, gotta go. Okay, I'm back. I had to just move there for the park ranger to get on through here. So, yeah, so definitely I've gained a lot of confidence in driving this rig and hitching and unhitching and just living day to day and taking care of everything. Flexibility. Man, I don't wear a watch. No watch, guys. I haven't worn a watch in years, but the flexibility to spend my time the way I want to spend my time. Today I thought, well, it's a nice day. I'm going to go to the farmer's market in downtown Oakland. Oh, maybe I can catch the ferry. I'm going to walk around here. I mean, I have flexibility, so when I'm out and about, I do things based on the weather's nice, I'm in a good mood, I've got energy, or I'm kind of tired, I'll go back. I mean, the flexibility that I have out here is amazing. I also feel like partly I'm on my own, and I feel like there's no judgment. I'm not judging myself, but I feel like in the real life, the real world, I am in the real world, but you know what I mean. You know, in the regular workplace, you're judged so much by what your hair looks like and what you're wearing and how much money you're spending and all of this artificial stuff that you're being judged on, what you own, the house you live in. And here it's like, there's no judgment. I'm just being who I am. And if anything, I get a lot of people who are jealous of the way I'm living. So anyway, okay. And I work full-time from the RV. Well, I don't work full-time. I work from the RV. And I go through periods of intense work and then things peter out a little bit. But I have flexibility in that. But I have more of a work-life balance. I can get up in the morning, go hiking, and then hop back onto the computer and get into a Zoom call. I've got pretty good internet access. I check out all the campgrounds before to make sure that I'm going to get cell service. And I've been able to keep up a business and grow my business from the RV, but yet have much more of a work-life balance than I ever had. Another factor for me, one of the best things is I get to chase the sun. So I get to choose warm places. It gets too cold, I go further south. I get to stay warm. And I also can steer this RV toward friends and family. So I've been able to spend some time with my brother, whom I seldom see. I was able to go to Wisconsin and see friends. I've had friends come visit me. So in a way, I've seen some people more often than I saw them before because the RV has wheels. And really, ultimately, it's living with nature. It's just being out here and listening to the birds sing and watching the sunrise and the sunset. And I mean, there's just not much better than sitting around a campfire at night or walking in these hills or just experiencing nature and living with nature. Okay, those were some of the best things. Now, what's the flip side? The worst things. Okay, worst things. Yeah, there are times when I'm lonely. Absolutely. So, especially when I first started out on the road and I really didn't know anybody. Now I've become more connected in various Facebook women RV communities. Seems a little bit easier, and I've reached out more frequently. So yeah, loneliness is a tough one. Okay, the one thing I really do miss, I'd like to have a bathroom where my knees didn't touch the door. You know, I mean, the bathroom in an RV is tiny, 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 so you don't spend much time in the bathroom. So Yeah, you know, that's not a great experience. The thing that really got to me in terms of looking at my expenses was how much I'd be spending in gas. Now I'm in California, you know, it's Memorial Day weekend, prices are jacked up to $4.26 a gallon. Try filling up a 55-gallon tank in an RV with that and then getting maybe 5 miles to the gallon. You know, it's tough, so I don't like I mean, certainly, and I don't like the impact on the environment that I am making. If I could do something else, I would. I have slowed down the travel so that I'm staying in one place more, traveling, actually driving less distance. But still, I know I'm making an impact and spending a lot of money on gasoline. Ah, another one of the on the worst list is trying to navigate gas stations. Sometimes I get a really great gas station, but sometimes I'm like, man, am I going to fit in here? Am I going to be able to get out of here? And sort of like, you know, so trying to navigate gas stations and then stop and go traffic on the freeway where you gotta let a lot of people. You know, you need a big distance between you and the guy in front of you. Roadside assistance. I think it's an oxymoron. Can you have a roadside emergency and actually get assistance? So I've had a couple of experiences, mostly on the bad side. So that's one of the challenges. Another challenge is that you got to make snap decisions. And I feel like I've done pretty well with that. But you have got to make a very quick decision often. Weather's moving in, that's a biggie. Do I stay here? Is it going to be safer to go elsewhere? What do I do? So, yeah, I also, you know, it's a small kitchen in there. I'm kind of tired of cooking, tired of eating my own meals, so I eat out a little bit more frequently. But that's a pretty small worst list compared to the best list. The 3 things that have surprised me the most, okay, you ready? Number 1, the cats. I'm traveling with 3 cats, and I thought I was going to ruin their lives. You know, I'm traumatizing them. They've been in the house the whole time. The 2 little rascals have never spent time outdoors. The older one, Dolly, she's used to roaming around in the morning around the house. What am I doing? I'm taking them in this RV. Oh man, we're driving. They don't like that. But I'll tell you what, they have adapted and they are loving it. So they've got the routine down. Dolly is perfectly at ease in any situation. The 2 little rascals, they know when it's time to go and they go into their hiding place. They know when I'm setting up and they come on out. They you know, meow for that catio to get set up, and then they're in and out and in and out, and they have a great time. So I was surprised how incredibly well they have adapted, and boy, they bring me so much comfort, especially in the middle of the night. Second surprise, joy. I have experienced joy like I never have experienced it before. Just walking through the woods, walking on a trail, walking through a canyon, looking out over the ocean. It just has filled my soul with joy. Big surprise, because I think, you know, before when I started, I had been pretty depressed, and certainly there were moments of happiness, but if you asked me, like, if I ever felt joy, when's the last time I felt joy, I would have had to stop and pause. And now joy is on a daily, weekly basis. That surprises the heck out of me. Third surprise. You need some luck to do this. Luck plays an important role. So I've had tire issues, and both times I was able to get over to the side of the road in a safe place. Now, those tire issues could have happened in a lot of other worse locations. My campground in February, I think it was February, in Lake Corpus Christi State Park. So Texas has the huge winter storm. There's no power except in my campground. You know, I mean, the local town is shut down. Everything is shut down for days. It's freezing cold out there. I'm running low on my propane, but I still got electricity. Luck, just pure luck. And as much as I can plan for things and try to control situations and I make the snap decisions, there is certainly a big amount of luck involved in this. So, all right, so the two questions I get asked. Number one, do I miss the house? I really don't. I miss the people. I miss my friends. I don't miss the house. I miss a nice bathroom, but I don't miss the house. How long am I going to be on the road? Until I'm not. That's it. The one thing I have realized is the importance of community to me, and I've traveled through so many states where I can almost feel the energy. You know, sometimes it's just grumpy, negative folks who don't want to be there, and they're taking out their anger on every customer that walks in the place. Other times I get bubbly, perky people who are interested in life, curious about people, and open-minded. So I feel like there's such a vast differences in community, and boy, when I can find a community that I feel is into social justice and equity and giving back and doing things for the whole community, you know, maybe then it's time to settle down. But I feel like I've just started. I've been out here for a year and I'm just getting started. It's just like getting really good now. So I have no intentions to stop. When I get off the road, I get off the road. But I am, so many times it's like Christmas morning as a kid with my presents to unwrap. It is getting in that RV and experiencing a new place. It's just, I feel alive. I feel so alive. Okay, so that's my long wrap-up of year one. Hey, please subscribe, follow along, and I hope to see you on the road sometime. You guys take care. Bye-bye.